Najib says Malaysia is far from bankruptcy. Bodyguard changes guilty plea. Hi, I'm Suhaila Saifuddin and this is Couple News. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak has accused a former leader of spreading lies about Malaysia, which nearly scuttled a 31.1 billion ringgit deal between Petronas and Saudi Aramco. Speaking at the Global Transformation Forum, Najib said the country's economic plan is working, but fake news is jeopardizing its progress.
There's been a lot of talk, and I like to use the term now, fake news lately. Unfortunately, the government's opponents here in Malaysia often prefer not to engage with us on the facts. They create false propaganda, like the idea that this is a stage on the verge of bankruptcy. This running down of Malaysia is nothing less than economic sabotage for selfish, personal, political gains. The Aramco deal was almost wrecked by such fake news. After all, many would not expect a former leader to tell lies about his own country. So when he tells people that Malaysia is facing bankruptcy, some believe him. In fact, he knows he is telling lies.
He said ordinary Malaysians would suffer the most if the lies affect perceptions abroad. Najib added that the investment received from a Saudi Arabian oil company was a major testament that Malaysia is far from bankruptcy. He also said Malaysia expects to record a slightly higher gross domestic product growth this year from the 4.2% achieved last year, and the growth is expected to rise in 2018. The government had earlier predicted that the economy would grow between 4 and 5% in 2017. Najib said these figures showed that the Malaysian economy was growing more than double the rates the International Monetary Fund had predicted for advanced economies over the same time period. Over to Parliament, South Korea's National Assembly Speaker Chung Sye-Kyun, who paid a courtesy visit to Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Pandikar Amin Mulia today, said Malaysia has been fair and reasonable in dealing with Kim Jong-nam murder case. Sye-Kyun also said that the most important thing was the return of 9 Malaysians now stranded in Pyongyang after they were barred from leaving the country.
The Malaysian government has been very fair and reasonable in dealing with this matter. And first of all, I wish the Malaysian people in North Korea, I think they should come back to Malaysia very soon, and I think that will happen.
The diplomatic row between Malaysia and North Korea erupted following disagreement on several matters in the wake of the murder of Kim Jong-nam, the estranged half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, at KL International Airport 2 on February 13th. Earlier, Sye-Kyun, who is on a brief working visit to Malaysia, had earlier met with the Prime Minister to discuss cooperation between both countries.
We talked about cooperation in economics and in other fields between the two countries, and also I talked about HSR, the high-speed railway. I strongly expressed our interest and capability about that project. So we had some discussions about that.
A North Korean suspect in the killing of Kim Jong-nam is reportedly the son of a former top North Korean envoy to Vietnam. According to a report by South Korea's Yonhap news agency, Ri Ji-hyun is the son of former North Korean ambassador to Hanoi, Ri Hong, and had lived in Vietnam for about 10 years. The report also said Ji-hyun used his fluent Vietnamese to lure Doan Thi Huong into the plot to kill Jong-nam. Ji-hyun is among 4 North Korean suspects who left Malaysia on the day Jong-nam was murdered, and they are believed to have returned to Pyongyang. Interpol has issued a red notice to track down and arrest them. U.S. authorities are planning to file criminal charges against Loh Teck Jo or Joe Loh in a money laundering investigation surrounding 1MDB. The Wall Street Journal reported that the charges would also include wire fraud against Loh and some of his associates. The report also said that the prosecution's plans could change or be dropped as the probe continues, and there was no timing provided on when the charges would be filed. In July last year, the U.S. Department of Justice said more than $3.5 billion was misappropriated from 1MDB as the agency sought to seize about $1 billion of assets it claims was laundered through the U.S. banking system. The Bodyguard, accused of going on a shooting spree at the Tun Dr. Lim Chong Il Expressway last December, has claimed trial at the Penang Sessions Court, but he also says he cannot afford a lawyer. Jaafar Khalid, who had pleaded guilty when he was charged on December 14, changed his plea to not guilty to 5 counts of attempted murder. Meanwhile, at the magistrate's court, Jaafar appeared for case management over a charge of killing businessmen Dato' Ong Teck Kwang, Choi Hon Ming and Senthil Murugia and causing hurt to Lim Boon Leng. Magistrate Sharifah Izura Said Mashur and Sessions Judge Roslan Hamid fixed April 24th for mention. It was reported Jaafar went berserk and shot dead his own boss, killed 2 other men and injured others at the Tun Dr. Lim Chong Il Expressway on December 1st last year. Thousands of people thronged the Galleria at Kota Raya, Johor in a bid to own their dream house during the launch of the first phase of the Rumah Impian Bangsa Johor, Yayasan Sultan Ibrahim, a housing scheme by the Sultan of Johor, Sultan Ibrahim Ibni Almarhum Sultan Iskandar. The crowd has gathered as early as 5 a.m. hoping to obtain registration forms to apply for the scheme, although registration counters were only open at 5 p.m. A total of 1,840 homes would be built over several phases at Bandar Dato' On, Bandar Baru Majidi and Jalan Yahya Awal, all within 20 minutes drive from the city centre. The first phase in Bandar Dato' On would comprise 600 bungalows and semi-detached units with a built-up area of 1,100 square feet each. The scheme offers a variety of price categories and types of houses, which starts from 80,000 ringgit. Sultan Ibrahim Foundation, which was established on July 14 last year, intended to channel aid to the welfare of Johorians, especially on the issue of home ownership. Earlier, the ruler had announced the project as a gift to the people of Johor in conjunction with his birthday celebration on Thursday. Peru's Air Force has mobilized its planes to airlift thousands of citizens from flood-ravaged areas of the country as the death toll from the natural tragedy rises. So far, at least 75 people have been killed in the flooding, over 260 injured, 20 have gone missing and some 630,000 have been displaced. According to officials, over 1,000 more are still waiting to be lifted to safety. Over half of Peru have been declared in emergency due to the El Niño weather phenomena. The US military says it has detected a failed North Korean missile launch attempt with a rocket exploding within seconds of its launch on Wednesday morning. A report in Japanese state news agency also says several missiles may have been fired from the east of the country in a launch that appears to have failed. So far, there's been no clear indication of the number of rockets involved or what type they were. Earlier this month, North Korea fired 4 ballistic missiles into the sea of Japan's northwest coast, angering South Korea and Japan. This 4-year-old Shiba Inu is an artist in the making. Hunter has been taking art lessons from his owner, Denise, who taught him how to use a paintbrush by maneuvering it in his mouth. Denise said it took 2 days to train Hunter to touch the brush to the paper. This video shows the talented dog creating a painting entitled Serenity. The video has received over 12,000 views on YouTube. That is all from me. Good night.